think we can start now. My name is Svetlana Isakova. I work at JetBrains, and today I want to talk about Kotlin on Android. You probably heard about this company. It's the creator of IntelliJ IDEA that now Android Studio is based on. The slogan of my company is developed with pleasure. And I will share with you now how pleasurable can be Android development with Kotlin. JetBrains is also creator of several different IDEs for other languages, and that's why you shouldn't be very surprised that several years ago, after writing so many compilers for different languages, actually we decided to create our own language, named Kotlin. Kotlin, you can think of it as yet another JVM language. It is not specifically designed for Android, but now it seems it is very appropriate and it can be really useful for this platform. It can be compiled to Java bytecode and JavaScript as well, but JavaScript is out of the scope for this talk. Kotlin is a modern and pragmatic language. Let's look at these words in turn to understand what do I mean by them. There are lots of modern languages nowadays. Ceylon, Scala, Groovy, they all suggest something new and modern for you. There is a Swift language for iOS development, and also there is Kotlin language. And there is a question: why do we need a new modern language at all? Why can't we be satisfied with Java, with our good old Java or C#? Why do we need something else? And I would say that it's about the power. The power that we have, that we can get from using these modern languages. They help us to improve our code, to improve the quality of our code. I would say that most of the time, you as a developer you spend not on writing new code, but maybe on reading the existing code. And while doing it, it's very important how readable is it, how easy to understand is it to understand what's going on. And if a language helps you to make the code more readable, it's a good thing. I would say that developers can be compared to artists to some extent. And the programs can be compared to a piece of art. Sometimes we really are very proud of the beauty of the code that you produce. And if the language can help you to make this code even beautiful, to use stronger concepts to improve it, that's a point of the language as well. And at last, we all want to be productive. We want to get things done faster. And actually, these modern languages, all of these modern languages help you with this. So you've heard about Scala, you've heard about Groovy, and they all can be applicable to Android to some extent. And today it's about Kotlin. So I would say that this is what all these modern languages have in common. They are concise and expressive. You don't have to have so much boilerplate that you used to have in Java. Several language features can help you with it, like type inference, like extension, like functions as first-class citizens, like extension functions in the case of Kotlin. So we know how to write the same things in more concise manner. So now the size of your program can decrease. And secondly, these modern languages give you power to create more abstractions, to extract more things into other functions, into reusable components, into the libraries. And that as well can help you to decrease the amount of your code that you have to write to have your work done. Compared to some of its competitors, pragmatic. What do I mean by this? At first, it's safe. You write correct and safe code by default. The compiler guards you for doing it. Then we are really performance oriented, and it is important for Android because of the constraints from the small devices. That means that actually if you have these two requirements for our language, that means it's actually have to be statically typed. So Kotlin is a statically typed language. As it comes from JetBrains, you'd expect it to have really good tooling. We have IntelliJ plugin from the very beginning, and actually some of the basic refactorings worked even when there was no so many features of Kotlin implemented, of Kotlin language. And the last aspect of this pragmatism is Kotlin can be really easily mixed with Java code. And there is an important issue, there is a difference, because actually there is no problem to call Java code from any JVM language, from any X language you use. Because it's a JVM language, it works on JVM, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if we're talking about how easy it is and how easy it is to do it vice versa, to call your code written in UX language from Java, then the difference begins. For example, if you write in Scala in a Scala way, and you try to invoke this written in Scala way code from Java, it looks like a .cat. So it's better not to do it. So if you want to write in Scala, you'd better write your whole new application in Scala, or at least some separate component. But in Kotlin it's not the case, and you can really easily mix two languages together. And why it works like this? The answer is very simple. It's one of our requirements. Before having decided about each language feature, we think a lot about how it influences this interoperability thing. I'll show you some examples. And I'll start with an example. An example illustrating this modern and pragmatic stuff. I would say you've heard about this term that now is used very often, like in advertising all these modern languages. Who knows what does it mean? It actually has something to do with null pointer exceptions. Sometimes in our programs we have an errors like this, like null pointer exception. We press the details and they are really very explainable for us. So, okay, we have null pointer exceptions and null pointer exception in our programs somewhere. And Svetlana, who actually was invented this null pointer reference in the 60s or 70s, and I remember he called all this thing a $1 billion mistake, because no one actually can count how many $1 billion was spent to fix such problems. And we want to cope with it somehow. And all of these modern languages take into account this problem. And usually they suggest some solution. So modern approach is to convert this runtime error to make it a compile time error. So to guard it at the time of the compilation. So when you write a program, the compiler can guard you and prevent you from such errors. Okay, you can do the same thing in Java. You can check every reference whether it's null or not. In this case, your code will have a lot of boilerplate, a lot of stupid if checks, but it will be safe. But it's not what we want. It costs us too much. We want something better. And usually these languages propose something. They suggest some approach that solves this problem but doesn't cost as many as in Java. So here is the Kotlin solution. Who have heard about nullable types before? Okay, some of you, that's great. Actually, the Swift language generally, the same nullable types. Or you can use annotations to Java types that annotate that this type can be nullable or not. So the idea is simple. If you use just usual type, like here, string, the variable of such type can't contain null reference. It can't be null. So you can reference it easily. But if you want to store null reference in the variable, you have to specify it explicitly, to put a question mark here. Yes. So this question mark means that a variable of this type can contain null, and you can't safely dereference it. So in this case, this is a compiler error because you can't, there is a possibility of null pointer exception. So that's good, but what else? The Kotlin should give us some ways to cope with this, because if we have to check it every time explicitly, we'll have the same problem as in Java. And Kotlin does. What can you do to reference this variable? At first, as in Java, you can check explicitly whether it's not null, and then in the case, you can reference it without problem. But Kotlin suggests even more. It's this feature called safe access. If I'm not mistaken, it was stolen from Groovy. Groovy language has similar syntax for similar things. That means that if this variable is null, then you can reference it, and if it's not null, you can reference it. If it's null, return the null as a whole result. So the result type of this whole expression will be not int but int with question mark, meaning it can store null. Or you can say if it's null, then return this default value for the expression. Or you can say you can check, there is a common pattern when you check the variable for being null, and afterwards you can use it safely in the rest of your code. Or you can express that, okay, I'm sure this variable is not null, so please throw a null pointer exception here if I'm wrong. So there are ways to check it. And this one, actually, Swift language has the same thing. It has an operation for this unsafe reference, and their notation is one exclamation mark. In Kotlin, it's two exclamation marks, meaning please don't do it. It's dangerous. Please avoid this syntax. So basically, the idea is that Kotlin gives, there is a common problem that we know how to deal with nowadays. Kotlin suggests you one of the approaches. It's like nullable types that is very easy to deal with. So compiler guards you against all the problems. But then I want to share with you a story of this Java, of mixing with Java. At first, after creating Kotlin, after our first minor version of Kotlin, we suggested the thing that Java types should all be considered as nullable, because it's the safest way to do it. Yes, so every Java variable, every Java type can be nullable. Yes? Yes. Like this? Thanks. Sorry, thanks. Maybe. I can try another actually. Okay. Thanks. So after first version, in the first version of Kotlin compiler, there was suggested that all Java types should be nullable, because it's the safest way to do it, and in this case we can guarantee that you don't get the null pointer exception at your code at all. But then the first, and we suggested that actually Java code should be annotated by the corresponding nullable and null annotations to be easy to integrate with. But our first adopters told us that it was really inconvenient to use this feature, to use Kotlin with existing Java libraries, because you always have to put these exclamation marks or question marks in your code, and it was really inconvenient. So after some time, actually this year, we released a version that there was another idea that actually, okay, we want to be pragmatic here, and we want to allow you really very easy interop with Java code. So actually there is some tricky solution here, because Java type can be considered as an nullable or not null type, depending on what you want here. But actually you don't have to put all these checks when you have to deal with Java. So you can use all these Kotlin tricks to deal with nullability, but you don't have to. So you see, the first solution is like a pure scientific solution that is very safe, that guarantees you the absentee of null pointer exceptions. But actually it works out that the second solution works better. So you will have null pointer exceptions if you deal with Java code, and you won't prevent it by your own. But generally, it's much easier to live with. One other example. Has anyone actually tried Kotlin or something before? Okay, great. You might have known the problem that it's there was no concise syntax to express, to create a null member, to create a member in an activity, because when you create an Android activity and you create like a member, there you usually want to initialize it, you don't create method. And what type should this data be of? You want it to be of the type string, because you can you have these guarantees that it can't be null, but you can't express it in this syntax, because there was a solution, but it was rather like it was a bit verbose. So now I'll show you a thing that will be introduced like in the next minor version of Kotlin. It's like late init modifier that means that you want to initialize this member lately. For example, when you call onCreate, and in this case you can safely declare it as having no nullable type. Actually, this late init modifier, just a second. Actually, this late init modifier can be used when you work with injection as well. When you want to inject some component in your activity, you declare it as late init, and it can be safely injected. Yes. In this case, actually, the null will be stored in this reference, so you can't like fake JVM. Some value should be stored there, and when you try to do reference, you have a special exception. Something like this variable wasn't initialized. It's not like null pointer exception, but it's more clear what's going on here. Okay, that was like the end of some kind of introduction part. Now I want to show you live demo of what can be done with Kotlin. I'll start with how easy it is to start development with Kotlin on Android Studio. And then I'll show you two more features of Kotlin language and special Kotlin extensions for Android plugin that can be installed, that is designed especially for Android and can be installed in Android Studio and lets you simplify some things. And at last I'll show you a library for creating dynamically Android layouts. So let's start the demo. Okay, so here is a project where I generated by default the auto-generated Java project. The only difference I have with your Android Studio is I installed Kotlin plugin here it is. And actually, I as well as installed Kotlin and Droid for extensions for Droid. I'll show you it later. And I generated a project with the activity written in Java. What I can do here is I can convert Java file to Kotlin file automatically. And here it is. It's the same activity written in Kotlin. You see there is no many differences here. You see this fun words keyword, meaning there is a function. The return type goes in the end. There is no semicolons or something else. But basically, I think the code should be clear. And actually, this tool, this automatic converter from Java to Kotlin is very useful if you start developing in Kotlin and don't know how to express something. You can usually write the same code in Java and see what the analog in Kotlin you have. Of course, it won't be like in a Kotlin style, but at least it will be written in Java style. But at least it is the way to cope with the new syntax. But there is one other thing you have to do if you want to start developing. You have to add your dependencies, and actually there is another action that does it for you. We have the action configure Kotlin in project, and this action adds all the necessary dependencies of Kotlin to your Gradle file. So here it is. It's like Kotlin and Droid, and some other thing with like all the necessary dependencies. So this should be quite easy to start. Then I want you to show some real Kotlin. I wanted to show you a very simple application I've written for this presentation. It's like two buttons that can be clicked and show toast. And on this simple application, we'll see some really nice features of Kotlin. Yeah, here it is. So what I do here, I find my I declare this button somewhere in XML layers. I think it should be very easy, very simple thing to do. Then I find this click me button, and here we see our first feature of Kotlin in action. It's lambdas. Who have heard about lambdas or have general understanding what lambda is? Okay, so most of you. Great. Lambda is like an anonymous function that can be passed, that can be stored in a variable or passed as an argument to another function. Here it is. It's in the curl. It's defined in curly braces. And what's interesting in this example is that this set of click listener is a method of Android SDK. So it's not a special method. It's an Android method that what does it take as a parameter? It takes a listener, a Java class with one method in it, Java interface with one method in it. And if we come with Java method that takes such an interface as a parameter, we can pass there a lambda. Actually, this is a general approach, and if you have heard about Java 8, they do something similar with lambdas and with single abstract method interfaces. So you don't have to do something special for it, it just works. So you use Android SDK and you can pass lambdas there. Let's look at for lambdas. Here it is. So as what I've told you, a lambda is an anonymous function that can be stored in a variable. Here there is a check whether the integer number is more than 0, and it is stored in a variable. It can be called as a usual function here, so you don't know whether it's a variable or function. But what's more interesting, it can be passed to another functions. Maybe you've heard, those of you who have heard about lambdas know how they help you to simplify working with collections. That's like very famous topic nowadays. After releasing Java 8, everyone is very happy how easy the code we can write nowadays with lambdas. So in Kotlin you can do the same thing. You can pass lambda as an argument to this filter function, and filter function just saves only those elements that satisfy the predicate. I think this example should be clear. So here we have a list of like 3 numbers, and only 2 of these numbers that are more than 0 are left in this list. So there is a syntactic convention in Kotlin. If there is a variable, if you have a lambda with only one argument, the compiler can infer the type of this argument. It can be named int, like this. So there is a lambda with one argument. There is a syntactic convention in Kotlin that we will use at the end of our talk today. So please keep it in mind. You can omit round brackets if the lambda is the last argument. To some extent you saw it in this example, because here lambda is in just the curly braces, but you can do the same thing in the usual syntax. We have a special notation, move lambda out of the parentheses, and here it is. So it's the same. It means the same as the previous line. Here they are the same. It's just a syntactic convention. It's nothing special about it. Okay, so here list and set are actually are not Kotlin list and Kotlin set. In Kotlin, we, as I told already, we want to be very easily interoperable with Java, with existing Java code. That's why we decided not to suggest using our own collections. We don't have our own collections in Kotlin. We use standard Java interfaces. This way, you don't have to repeat one version or the other when interacting with the existing Java code. And that means that this list and this set are usually, this is just usual Java util hash set. But then there is a question: how can we invoke filter on such a list if it's Java list? You see, there is a method that we don't have on list interface in Java, but we can invoke it in Kotlin. The answer to this is the second feature I want to show you. It's extension functions. This C# has the same feature. Maybe someone have heard about it. Extension functions. Okay, that's great. So I'll explain it now. Yes. In Kotlin, you can write an extension function to a class. In this case, it doesn't change the class. It just like the util function. I would say that almost every project have like a bunch of util methods to start Java strings, for example. In Kotlin, you can express it in a more useful way. So here, last char is an extension function to strings. Actually, this is usual Java string. And in the body of this function, you can use this reference that refers to the receiver of the function. So here, this is string. And as usual for any of this reference, you can omit it. This means the same as the previous one. Actually, this omitting this, it's the other thing we will use later. So it's worth remembering as well. Why are they useful? Because in this case, the code is more readable. So you don't have to write last char of string. You can invoke it on this string as well. And what's important, it is visible in completion. So if you use, like in this case, smart completion, it suggests me my extension function as the first option. So how you usually develop? You like write your variable and then invoke completion and try to find what's appropriate here for the context, what method I can use. So these extensions help you to do the same thing, but with all utility functions. Because in Java we have these utility functions somewhere, but you have to know exactly where they are and how to use them. You can't just. It's not easy to just find them out somehow. So the filter function that we saw in the previous example was an extension function to Java collections declared in Kotlin's Kotlin library. That's it. Okay, let's return to our activity and see how it can be improved with extension functions. Actually, first thing we can do is in Kotlin there is easier way to show a toast. Just a function toast. It does the same as the previous one, but it's like a bit shorter. How it works? Actually, you see this toast has you have to pass this reference to show toast. And actually, this second function is an extension function to an activity. So you pass this reference, but you do it implicitly. That's why that's why the code is more readable than the previous one. It's shorter. Okay, that's the first thing how we can improve our code. Then another nice thing that can be done with this. I've shown you that there were two buttons, and there is a usual. For example, we want to start another activity by pressing the second button. How do we usually do it in Java? We create an intent, we put the parameters in it, and then we start an activity with an intent. With Kotlin, you can express the same idea, but a bit shorter. What you can do, you can just press start activity, and yes, it looks like this. And we have a flag, and so we have to put a flag, yes, to specify the flag as well. So it's again, it's a bit readable than the Java version. And what allows us to do such stuff? I would say for most of the cases, it's extension functions. That all these methods are extensions to activities, and you pass this implicitly, and it's a bit easier to read. Actually, these two is an extension function as well, and there's a special infix syntax that is possible in Kotlin. It's the same as just okay. You just pass it here, and there's this short notation. Okay, there's another way to start an activity. If you don't have flags, there's another extension function. Okay, now I want to show you the Android for Extensions plugin. That's just really nice stuff for you, because actually we can simplify this code even more. We can write, instead of finding this view by IDs explicitly, we can write here something like this. And you just proxy it, I don't have to specify it. So how it works? Actually, functionality is accessible with using this Kotlin extension folder plugin. And what does it do for you? It generates special extension properties for IDs declared in the new XML, for the views declared in new XML. And I've already shown you extension functions, but there are also extension properties that can be imported, that have to be imported explicitly, like here. And actually, while you import it, you can change its name, something like "and me" or something. If it has a conflict with some other name, you import these extension properties and you use it in the body of your activity. How it works then? Actually, this compiler secretly generates for each activity written in Kotlin a special cache storing all the views you declared in the XML and the corresponding objects. And this cache is initialized lazily, and all these objects are initialized lazily as well on access. So if you use click me button, then it invokes find view by ID function, gets the necessary object, puts into secretly in the cache, and then when you use click me button the second time, it just uses the same object. And all this works for an activity written in Kotlin. So this was this example. I've very briefly show you their there's the second example, and the idea here is that you can use dynamic. So
Okay.
Two more minutes.
네, 그래서 바로
Thanks. In the Kotlin, you can specify the layouts for Android dynamically. What I mean, in Java you have two options. You can specify these layouts in XML, or you can try to build them in Java code, but it's very inconvenient. It's very long and it's unreadable. In Kotlin you have a readable and easy way to do this, to build the layouts. How it works? I will show you the example, short example with the layout like in alert. Here I have the simple alert that I will show, and have another. How it works? Actually, you write your code. Your code looks like HTML. Here it is. This there. Another trick that I wanted to show is the data class declared in Java. And there is like convert Java to Kotlin in action. You have the more concise syntax in Kotlin for the same idea for the data class. And here there is alert written in Kotlin. Yes. So how it works is just it's the way to build. You can build the layouts in the similar way you build them in XML. Sorry, there is another example. You have like two positions, two components, and you can write the code in Kotlin in a similar way you write XML, but actually it is statically typed code in Kotlin. And actually how it works, this is a function invocation, and this is an extension, and this is a lambda in square brackets. And that's why in the body of the lambda, you can involve only some trees. So okay, I won't go deep into the details. So I have not much time. But if you're interested, you can ask me later after the presentation. I want to end with some. So generally, the idea is that you can build these such layers in Kotlin in the code. So I'll finish with my presentation now, I think. Yeah, so if you're interested, you can Google it, this builder's thing, and see how it works. So what I wanted to add at the end is, at first, it's from Jay Gordon's like a positive article about Kotlin. Comparing to some other like libraries or languages, Kotlin has a rather small size to be added to your code. Why is it so? The general answer is because we have rather small library. We don't have to rewrite the library. We want just to add a bunch of useful extensions there. It's not big. And after ProGuard, it's even smaller. So it's a good thing. Then another thing, we have some issues with Dagger. And a half a year ago, there was the annotation processing wasn't supported, and now it is. So it just works. And it should be mentioned because there was issues with it. So now it's the references. There is Kotlin site, Kotlin extensions for Android plugin. There is Angular library that help you do with lots of that gives you a bunch of useful extensions for Kotlin. And there is also this Angular library has this part of dynamic layouts, and actually we have preview for them. But there's the other plugin that can be installed. And there is Kotlin Cons project that can help you learn quickly Kotlin if you want by completing several tasks for it. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Questions? You have to explicitly specify what target. Yeah, but basically the idea is that it's code, and you have the means of abstractions with it. So generally, so now it's the approach, and something is proposed. The approach and some implementation for many features. But later, when you have to specify different devices and how the code should work for different things there, you can do a lot because it's a code, and you can extract this logic somewhere. So for now, you have to specify this. Okay, some other questions?